What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title called Heart of Muriet. This is a real-time strategy game that kind of takes a different approach to how the title unfolds versus like the other Command and Conquer and StarCraft-style games that basically have rubber band boxes and like unit confirmations and everything else like that. It's basically the merging between kind of like a point defense capture the flag game with a little bit of like an infantry push and pull to take territory, and the game's got a gorgeous art style. Like, it's a really, really great looking game. It looks utterly fantastic. The game is not out yet, but you can check out this demo right now on Steam. It is available, and so you'll find that link down below in the description. On top of that, I think they're going to be pushing for like a Kickstarter or something pretty soon to fund the game. I don't know anything about that, but the demo is publicly available right now, so you can play it and decide whether or not this is the kind of thing that you wanted to back with your cash. Heart of Muriet, medieval fantasy real-time strategy game with a very, very beautiful voxel style and an interesting animation style too, somewhere in between like Stonehearth and like, actually honestly Stonehearth I think is what it's the closest to. But anyways, we're going to dive in for about 30 minutes today and see if it's worth your notice. Link is down below. You'll also be able to find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream down there, just in case you wanted to hang out live. And this is actually a fairly large demo. I was impressed by it. The game has a full tutorial. It's got like the first 3 or 4 missions of the storyline campaign. That's got a full map editor. Like, there's a lot of stuff inside of this demo. Now, that does come with a downside. This game is very, very crashy. The demo has been super crashy for me. Like, I've had crashy demos before, but this one, quite crashy. So you may see me if I mess up my edits, or maybe I just don't care. I'm going to be saving my game very, very frequently as we're doing this episode, because I've recorded it twice already, and both times it crashed on me about 20 minutes in. And so anyways, I just like to avoid that happening again. But that's the one big thing that I have about this demo, is that like visually, performance-wise, and also design-wise, I think the game is onto something. But on a technical due diligence level, the current demo is quite crashy. It might be related to hardware, I don't know. I'm not an expert with that kind of stuff. Other people on the Steam forums have been talking about it too. The developer is currently at Gamescom. He said he'll fix it on Monday, so he's responsive. He's on there like talking to people and whatnot, but he's at a con right now, so maybe download it on Monday. Actually, it is Monday, I guess, when I'm recording this. All right, well, hopefully it gets fixed. Anyways, let's play the campaign. New campaign, sounds good. I am going to skip over all of the storyline stuff because there is quite a lot of it, and it's going to eat into our gameplay time. I'm also going to be playing the game on easy difficulty because I've actually struggled with this title. I've been playing for about 2 hours, and the AI has just been pistol whipping me. It has been just grabbing me and, you know, holding me in a headlock and, like, sticking its finger in its mouth and giving me a wet willy and shoving my head in a toilet and then making me live inside of a locker. It's been it's been fun, but the AI has definitely hurt my pride today. So we're going to leave it on easy difficulty. I'm sure there are many people out there that are much better at games than me that will just breeze through this campaign if they play a lot of StarCraft or whatever. I'm not that guy, though. My APMs, on any given minute, you're lucky if I accomplish like 1 task per half hour, let alone like 120 actions per minute, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and let's get jivvy with the Jivalon incident, shall we? All right, so here we are in the game world. This is Jivalon. We are in South Jivalon. Basically, the maps are divided up into different sectors, and you can build inside of these sectors, and basically the end goal is to take over everything and control the island. For right now, let's go over the basics, things you need to know before you dive on into the game, even though it does come with a full tutorial. We have resources. We have gold, which is used for units. We have crystals, which are used for research, and they are used for workers, and magic, and then we've got our population cap over here. Inside of Jivalon, there are a limited number of plots that we can build buildings on, which is really kind of the onus for why you want to push out and take over other territories, because there's limited resources on the map. So spreading out and getting those and taking control of them basically gives you like a 2-to-1 advantage over the enemy, which I feel like is very, very important, because then you can outproduce them, and you can also hit them from different directions, especially given the fact that the AI in this game is pretty aggressive and actually pretty good at their job. And in being aggressive and good at their job, they embarrass me. They embarrass me and my old man reflexes. So anyways, what do these plots do? Well, these ones with the house on them are for civics, things that basically boost your economy or allow you to do research or whatever else. These ones right here are for military installations like barracks and archery dojos and that kind of stuff. These are for armies. You can actually station armies at your border if you want to. And then you can also have defensive emplacements. Now, I can already hear some people being like, nope, don't like that. I have to build on pre-described spots. Well, yes and no. What this effectively is it's a workaround for them having to have a building cap where you can build stuff wherever you want. And in fact, you can build stuff wherever you want. If you shift-click it and you drag it around, you can put it wherever you desire to put it. There is nothing that is going to stop you. And in fact, I'm going to start arranging things because, like, I know things about how I should have this arranged from playing the game for a couple hours that, like, your average player is not going to know before they play for a little bit. I need that to be, like, right... Can I just scooch you a little bit? There we go. I need that to be right there. For right now, we need to start thinking about the things we want to build at the beginning of the game to stop the never-ending tide of red enemies that want to punch me repeatedly in the kidneys. What I like to do is I like to open with a barracks, so that's what I'm going to do. I like to open by building a bunch more workers, so that's what I'm going to do. And then what you will see is when these little workers right here finish off their harvesting, they will come back and they will drop stuff off and they will come build over here. The entire game is effectively automated. In fact, I think there's a lot of aspects of this game that have been folded in that come from a place of auto-battling, actually. That's the feeling that I got from this game, is that, like, a lot of things in this game are, like, hands-off. Let me go ahead and assign some of my soldiers over here to guard the border because the enemy is up north of us. There's a neutral party that's holding the eastern island, and we will deal with them at some point, but for right now, we'll just kind of ignore them for a minute. But I need people on the border protecting things. These right here are basically neutral camps. If your units are not assigned to any activity, they will just hang out in these camps, and that's it. The enemy likes to attack these camps a lot, especially the one with your workers in it, so watch out for that. But ultimately, this is basically where all your reserve forces go until you either assign them to auto-attack or auto-defend. And so that's what we'll try to focus on. Once this building's up, I am going to try to get, like... What's it going to cost me to get storage done down here? It's going to cost me 150 each. Okay. Give me 2 units of soldiers. And then we have to defend ourselves for 4 minutes. That's the goal that we have on hand right now. This is basically going to act as a resource drop-off so that the guys that are mining and doing all that kind of stuff over here, they will not have to walk all the way back to base in order to drop off their goodies. And so this one's almost done. That one's getting there. We got our 2 more units, which I'm really pleased about. That should help out a little bit and keep us a little bit safer versus enemy incursions, which are bound to come. I think they only attack twice on easy difficulty, whereas it's like non-stop when you're playing on when you're playing on normal difficulty. I chose easy because, like, I can play on normal, but it's hard to kind of like talk and play the game at the same time because it's expecting me to do so many different little things. And so there's the first attack. The animation in this game is actually quite good. They used kind of like a Tim Burton style stop animation style that I think works out really, really well for the game. On one level, it preserves frame rate, and it makes it so that the game doesn't lag out too hard when you have big battles by getting rid of kind of ancillary frames in the middle. But they did a good job at selecting the frames that these units have in order to make the whole thing work. Let me get some more workers up. We want to develop our economy first. We want to lean into our economy very, very, very heavily at the beginning of the game. And then with the extra money that we're starting to stack up, I'm going to try to get about 5 units over here ready and waiting in reserves so that I can deploy them wherever I need them to go as we sort of adapt to the unfolding situation. Once I have 5 units, I think I'm going to focus on getting like an archery thing going on. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'm going to kind of space these out a little bit better. There we go. Looks good to me. We will take a house and put it right there. We don't get attacked from the right side on this mission. So, like, I'm honestly totally okay with reassigning, like, another guard duty over there. And then just having, like, 2 towers on this side, because you shouldn't be getting attacked from the right. I would be surprised if we got attacked from the right. Now, you might be sitting there being like, so why are the units so expensive? The units are so expensive because you're operating on a limited economy that forces you into action. So these piles right here are not infinite. You can't just, like, sit here and pool forever. Every single attack where you lose units and every single building that you build and every upgrade you choose is kind of on a fuse. Like, you're trying to basically develop a basic economy while at the same time building that economy to counter whatever economy your opponent has selected. Thus far, I have been really, really bad at reading what the AI is doing because I'm not that experienced with the game, but that's also the onus for why you're going to be pushing out and taking over, like, this extra territory over here is because it boosts up your economy to double what your opponent has and thus makes attacking him a lot easier. Now then, we do have a little bit of money stacked up, and I do like to see that. We are going to have to work on our pop cap, though. So I'm going to try to get some money together to build some farms, because that's going to raise up the amount of units that we can support, because as you can see, we're hard capped right now, and I want to have more soldiers. I want to have a lot more soldiers that are available to, like, help out with things. All right, so we're looking pretty good over here. That boosted us up a little bit. You love to see it. Let's keep working on our economy. I like to have like 16 workers. That allows me to kind of transfer them over to other territories as well, which makes life a little bit easier. Keep pumping out soldiers. There's going to be one more attack when we have about 15 seconds left, and we'll deal with that when it gets here. But for now, I feel like we're in okay positioning. I'm not upset with what we've got going on right now. All right, so there's my little soldiery boys right there. They're ready to rock. We are going to have to work on our pop cap a little bit, little tiny bit, but it should be okay. Once I get my 16 workers up, I think I'm going to focus myself pretty heavily on how much is it going to cost me to get an archery place up. It's going to cost me 700 gold to erect that building and make it happen, Cap'n. So that's going to be kind of a beefy draw, but, you know, we'll do it. We'll get it there. There are other buildings that you can use to multiply your production a little bit later. I think that working towards those is probably going to be a good idea. I'm going to adjust this. So basically, there's a slider down here in the bottom left. What it allows you to do is you can cast limited buffs on your entire colony to increase your output and your production, your defensive capabilities, whatever else. Sorry, a hiccup tried to waylay me right there, but I stopped it. I jammed it up right in the middle. There's also sliders here that determine how many of your workers will be assigned to repairing damaged buildings, should there be damaged buildings, how many of them are assigned to building buildings, and will break off of their normal tasks to go do that, and then the split of how many of them are working on crystals versus how many of them are working on gold. And so this is actually a game that kind of breaks off in a non-standard direction, and I sort of like that about it. Like, people that are coming to this title expecting something like, you know, Age of Empires, or who are expecting something along the lines of StarCraft will probably be disappointed. But this game is very, very hands-off, in that, like, you're really only planning your build order, and after that, you're mostly, oh, I don't want those guys to be in that building. You guys go back to work. There you go. Get back to it, my dudes. We're going to skip on over that dialogue right there. We've defended for 5 minutes, and the game is going to give us a few extra units to fiddle around with, which is really, really nice. We've almost lost a unit over there, but I think we're okay. We lost one worker, unfortunately, so he'll need to be replaced. We'll go ahead and do that now. But we've got an okay economy humming along. Let's go ahead and get some archers real fast. The game does have a very large tech tree for a demo. In fact, the developer seems to have put out, like, a lot of things for you to fiddle with inside of this demo, which I think is a very, very good idea. Like, really, as a developer, the best thing you can do to eliminate negative reviews is to put out a demo that really gets the gameplay ideas across at a core level, and in so doing, you know, people that don't like the game will know that they don't like the game from the demo, and they won't buy it, and they won't be disappointed after they buy it and leave, like, a negative review that affects, like, your searchability on Steam and whatnot. And so anyways, I like the fact, and in fact, I applaud the developer for making such a large demo for his Kickstarter. That's good. He showed up prepared. He showed up ready. He showed up rocking. Let's go ahead and we're going to build a few more farms over here. It's going to cost us a little bit of gold, but that's okay. And then we're going to spit out 2 more archers. And in spitting out the 2 more archers, I'll probably actually move this barracks over to here for when we've got more specialized units later on down the line. But yeah, there's a tech tree. It's big. Sorry, I didn't show it to you. Now, the tech tree has a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff for a demo. Like, they really let you get full on in with the skirmish. There's unit upgrades. There's new units that are not in that tree right there that you only get from the buildings. There's all kinds of goodies. Like, there's lots of things to play with. Let's go ahead and get another archer up and rocking. And then we'll kind of wait and see what the AI does. We also have god spells and things that we can cast. Down here in the bottom right, you've got a toolbar. We've only got a healing spell for right now, but later on you get some pretty rad magical spells like fireballs, magic missiles, stuff like that that knock the enemy's army all over the place. So like I said, there's a lot of things in here that are very much influenced by auto-battler games, in my opinion. I need a lot more soldiers if we're going to go run Wrecking Crew. I want to take over this guy's territory first. That's kind of where I'm at right now. His territory is fertile, and it is beautiful, and I want it. And so I think I'm going to go get it. In the meantime, once we get up to 500 gold, I am going to get, I think, nature level 1, because that's going to let us get poison arrows, I think, for our archers, which is a considerable boost in DPS. And then, where's my 5 at? There we go. Let's go ahead and we'll get nature magic 1. We'll knock that off the list early. That'll put us ahead of the enemy in terms of research. When the AI researches something, it tells you over here in this text bar. So just something to keep in mind. Does it look like I'm obsessively saving at this point, dude? I am not trying to record this. I'm not trying to re-record this episode for a third time. Like, that's one of those things about YouTube. People be like, man, you've got the coolest job ever. And then with a cynical look in my eye and gray hairs in my beard, I'm like, have you ever played for 5 hours the same game? The same 30-minute stretch for 5 hours straight? Saying the same things, talking about the same things, making the same jokes. Like, it's you know, I'm a little haggard today. I'm not losing another save. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not losing another save. All right. We're also gonna get chaos magic upgraded, or arcane magic, I guess is what that is, because it should unlock some new buildings. Yeah, so nature level 1 allowed us to get a bunch of new buildings in here, and you will see momentarily why I did things the way that I did them. I did them the way that I did them because I can put a well in the middle of here, and it will boost the amount of soldiers that we get for those outer areas. And so anyways, I'm going to put as soon as it's ready anyways, we are going to slap in a well right there. There we go. So the well is now being constructed. I'm going to get that last house constructed over there, and I'm going to kind of see how it affects our pop cap and like what it means. We do have poison arrows ready to go. I would research those about as soon as possible. We also have a couple other researches here that we can play around with. But we've got to get, I think we got to get the arcane magic done before we can, NPC unlocked nature magic 1. Okay. So I kind of know where we are with a frame of reference now for what the enemy's doing. We are going to go ahead and we are going to get better arrows. And then we're going to get longer range arrows right after that. I think that's where I'd like to start. I don't really want to push into this rightmost territory until we field another attack from these guys, because what's going to happen here is the second I move over here and I knock the enemy off the top of their area, he's going to invade with a full force. My force will have suffered attrition, and he's going to knock us off the board, and then he's going to have a twofer, basically. He's going to have 2 bases. We're going to have 1. And we're going to be fighting desperately for survival from that moment forward. We'll go ahead and get the firing speed upgrade as well. That'll also increase the accuracy of my archeresses. And then we've already got 10 units set up right here. I don't really want to overdo it too hard. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to get another farmhouse right there. And then another thing that I'd like to focus on is we have these buildings called markets. The markets are going to generate 10 resources per second, like just as they sit there. And so I like to have a couple of these just to help out my economy. It really starts to buzz once you've got like 2 or 3 of them. And then we're going to need an alchemy studio. We're going to need to have a wizard tower. And we're going to need to have, what is this building right here? That's a storage. We don't need that. We already got that. An alchemist. We need a blacksmith. That's what it is for the unit upgrades. We're going to need a blacksmith pretty soon. And so anyways, let's focus on our economy first so we can whip out buildings a little bit faster. And as soon as we have 500 gold, I'm going to try and stay on top of it and get this thing ticking, because like 10 free units of currency for both of these currencies every like X amount of time is really helpful if you've got them stacked up. We can also research pikemen over here. Pikemen are the natural counter to swordsmen, so they are useful to have around because they absolutely annihilate footmen. They get footmen out of the way with a quickness. Our economy is starting to feel a little bit better. I'd like to get a few more upgrades under my belt before we push out, so I'm going to work on just making sure I have a solid footing in this corner. But the AI hasn't really attacked yet, and that makes me worried. So our pikemen and our marketplaces are all ready to rock. I'd like to get a blacksmith in here. Where's that blacksmith at? So I'm missing gold. It's 1,000 gold to get the blacksmith up and running. We may just want to push out at the enemy and kind of see what happens. But I'd like to have like 20 units before we go over here to attack these guys. And then I'd also like to have basically another full queue of guys training before we go after this territory over here. We should win. It should be fine. But we've got to hold it. And that's the rough part. And so anyways, we'll focus on getting the forces we need in order to make this thing happen. There's our blacksmith. We can get that done right now for 1,000 gold. And I think we're still waiting on like 1 or 2 more archers before we go on the offensive. And so that should buy me enough time to get enough gold up to get like 5 or 6 units in reserve that are just going to kind of hang out in this area just in case these guys get bowled over, which is really my main worry right now. I'll probably get like a pikeman training, and then I'm going to show you how we attack a neighboring territory because it's kind of different from the way it works in other games. So you want to click on the territory you're attacking from, and then you're going to right-click on this territory over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you. And then we order the attack. So there it is. And what you will see is all of these guys that were hanging out in our reservist camp. These guys apparently were on guard duty. They're going to roll back on over here. But anyways, they will form up on the edges of our territory, and then they will push into enemy territory. And I love these little lines right here because it makes the pitched field battles look very, very good. Like, they look very, very realistic. It will break down into kind of like a nasty mess after the first, like, X amount of time in contact. But it does look good at the beginning. Like, this game kind of has the same thing going on that Rome Total War has, where it kind of, like, all falls apart after a little bit when it comes to unit cohesion. We should probably get chainmail, and we should probably harden our weapons. But let's watch the battle unfold, because we have... Oh, the enemy chose to attack at right that moment. Look at you guys over here. See, I knew you were going to do that because I've played against you, AI. You can't fool me. I'm aware of you and the way that you operate. So we're going to focus on this battle over here because this is going to be the more interesting one. If you want to affect their targeting priorities, you can open up this little menu right here. I want them to focus totally on wiping out enemy infantry. And once they're done with enemy infantry, then they will be allowed to go after other things. Our money looks okay. It appears as though we're like kind of winning this fight over here. I don't know, get a few more units reinforced. It seems like they're hitting us pretty hard right now. The good news there is, once we get done with all of their infantry, that means they're not really going to have much left to attack me with. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to strongly suggest you guys go after their wizard tower. That's pretty much all I want from you guys. Just don't do anything other than murder their wizard tower. You guys have other activities to apply yourselves to. I actually don't know if they're going to get it. Maybe I should have focused on the towers a little bit more aggressively. All right, well, let's get, we'll get some more foot soldiers rocking. We'll kind of reinforce the base here. Yeah, I think it's going to take me another push to get in there. Maybe I should have just let them fight the towers. Maybe that's how I messed up. I didn't think the towers were doing that much damage. My towers always seem to be kind of useless. But then again, are their towers the stone ones? No, those are the tier 1s. All right, well, I mean, the first incursion into enemy territory went fine. Probably could have gone better, but, like, fine, but, like, not great, but, like, eh. One observation is I do feel like the unit tooltips are a little bit too small. It's very hard to make out exactly. So if I mouse over these guys right here, it says what they're strong against. I can make out what that is, but the weakness is also quite small. Maybe if they made it so you hold down the Alt key or something like that, it makes it a little bit larger so you can read it a little bit better. I just upgraded everybody's weapons to copper. I don't know if it changed their appearance at all. It probably did. I'll be honest with you. With the amount of attention to detail I've seen with this game so far, I would be surprised if it didn't, like, change the graphic. But anyways, we got to get back over here and wipe these guys out. They're almost done. I'm really hoping that the AI doesn't push that direction. That's what I'm supremely concerned with right now. Go ahead and build me a stone tower over there. That sounds good. Get me, like, 3 more foot soldiers. And I think with the 8 soldiers we have left, we should be able to knock this over. But we need to show up with, like, overwhelming force. That's really kind of where we're at right now. So anyways, we've got that selected. We will send pretty much everybody up there. Like, we're clearing out the base right now. Send another regiment. And then we'll probably time this, and we'll send a few more over there in just a minute. Give me a few more soldiers, and then we'll go for an armor upgrade over here, and then we'll probably focus on getting our magic upgraded pretty soon. I'd also like to build the research building. It only takes 1,000 mana, so that doesn't even cost us gold, which is usually what I have problems maintaining. So that should be fine. And then basically behind these guys, I need to have like 3 workers, and we need to send workers over here that can build things, basically. And so, once we've kind of got this locked down, do you guys have the same targeting priority? Okay. This time, kill the towers. It's fine. Go kill the towers. I believe in all of you. You're all beautiful. You're all stallions. All the nice things that I can possibly say to you. You are those things. Save! All right, thank God, dude. I'm so happy it hasn't crashed yet, bro. This game has just been killing me with the crashes lately. There we go. Get into combat. Knock out a couple of towers. And then what I need to do is I need to... Hold on. That's not what I wanted. I need to click on you and then go over here. And we're just going to send over like 4 workers. Because we are going to want to colonize this about as fast as possible once we get done knocking it over. Now... Got 5 units over here. Yeah, let's send another 3 over there along with the pikemen. Just to reinforce it. Like, I'm trying to take this and, like, I cannot... Oh, wow, it knocked me over again, huh? All right, fair enough. I feel bad about myself. You guys recall back to base. Don't go in there. We apparently lost. You guys also recall back in there. A lot of damage being thrown out. It's weird. I attacked that with like 15 units right before I recorded this, and it went down easy. That's why I sent that amount of units, is because I already tested it, and it knocked that base over like super easy. Like, we really didn't have that many losses. But I guess I was wrong. I think it does upgrade their armor when you buy armor upgrades from the blacksmith. They look heavier armored now that I bought the chainmail. And they've got like a little yellow meter above their head, which I assume means it's like armor or something? I don't know. Either way, you guys get in there and wipe them out. You guys have a task to do. I want this. I want it. And you are going to give it to me. That's what's going to happen here. I want it, and I'm going to get it. We'll go ahead and produce a few more units over here. There we go. And then we will probably send over 5 more units. Just to kind of back up the workers. There we go. We knocked it over. We officially own this territory. Don't you just love it? Unfortunately, I cannot really heal these guys. So if the enemy decides to push in right now, we actually have, like, problems. We will have issues. There we go. So that's now our territory. The AI is going to have to decide whether or not it wants to split its attention between these various areas. What we want to do now... I do think that stone archer towers are a really good idea, but I don't know if the enemy's going to attack, and that makes me feel nervous. So let's go ahead and we will get a stone archer tower over here, and a stone archer tower over there. And my dearest, dearest desire is that maybe they knock those out before the AI comes after my dangly bits, which are just precariously exposed right now. My dangly bits are truly in rough shape. We do have more enemies coming on in. They're attacking over here, actually. The Madmen. All right, I respect it. Ooh, they've got the magic arrows now, too. Yeah. Technically, I could probably push with my Northern Army right now and mess with their base a little bit and, like, putz around with their economy, but, like, I don't know if I want to. They are retreating. Nice. So that's going to give us a little opening here. Let's build another wizard tower real fast. We need to get barracks and whatnot up and running over here about as soon as possible. Otherwise, it's not going to work out so great for us. I would also suggest that we get a stockpile built over there and a stockpile built over there, because we do have extra workers that are just kind of sitting around right now. And I think we might have clinched it here. I think we might be in pretty good shape, but as you can see, the battles get quite large. I pushed into the enemy's territory a while back when I was testing the game out with probably about 25 regiments. And they had like that many, and dude, it was like watching a Rome Total War battle. It got pretty intense over there. There was a lot of guys that were killing and slaughtering and screaming and barking orders and all that kind of stuff. This is nice because this is going to help us get our population cap kind of sorted out, because it is kind of tall right now. There we go. We have another wizard tower, and I'm pretty sure I can transfer my wizard over to this tower too. I don't know if you noticed, but my wizard is on top of this tower right here the whole time, like commanding everything. But anyways, we can make our economy a little bit stronger, and what's really nice is I can get archers and I can get warriors training up over here, and then we'll probably go in on, give me like, I want 16 workers over here too. That sounds good. We'll go for 16 workers, and it shouldn't take us too long to get that mashed out. That's going to be a well. That can go over there. That can go right there, right there, right there. Lovely. And we are going to set this thing up, and we are going to choke out the enemy. I'm going to tell you that right now. Oh, I'm still on 3x speed. That's not great. I can't really build units till all these houses are done, so let's just focus on getting this developed over here. And then we've got a couple of spots over here that I can probably use for markets. All those workers are done. We now have pop cap. So really, we just want to reinforce this position so that the enemy can't take it. And then we're going to reinforce the southern position, and then we're going to do a dual push. But we've been playing the game for a while. It didn't crash, dude. I'm so stoked. This is a really cool game. I like it. I think it looks great. I think it plays great. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a really unique take on RTS games. My only issue is just that it crashes a lot. That's pretty much it. But it didn't crash during this, so that's good. We finally did it, boys. We finally did it. Episode is done. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we had a little bit of Heart of Muriet, which is very, very promising. I get the feeling that this one might do numbers just because it's kind of unique, like an auto-battle-y, tower defense-y, real-time strategy-y, tactics game. I dig it. Knowing when to push, when to kind of hang back, all very, very important with this game. Like, those are things you have to take into consideration, and I like it. Anyways, thank you for the luxury of your time, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Bye, everybody.